Welcome creators, I'm the Hommeyosh, and this is my channel. We inspire creativity, explore game development, and bring Unreal Engine projects to life. In this video, part 11 of our third-person game series, we're taking the free sword animation and building a hit reaction montage. I'll show you how to duplicate the idle animation and assemble a montage. Then we'll update the attack and damage logic, so when the player or enemy takes damage, they'll automatically play the hit montage and their movement is briefly delayed. If you missed out on the third-person game series, go back and watch the third-person game series playlist on my channel. The link is in the description. So with that said, let's jump into the action. Okay, now that we're in our game editor, what I'm going to do is bring up the animations that we downloaded in the last video. If it's your first time, you haven't watched the third-person game series, go back to the playlist. I'll have the link in the description, and it'll show you how to download the animations. So we got our sword animations, which are for free, and we have those downloaded. So I'm going to go into the animations, and what I'm going to looking for is the idle animation. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this idle animation is I'm going to go ahead and copy this and relabel it. So let me go ahead and, well, no, I don't want to go there. This is where I want to go. All right, and I want to hit the Control D to duplicate, and we're just going to rename this to our hit reaction. Okay, there's our hit reaction animation. So we're going to go into our hit reaction animation, and I'm going to go ahead and pause this. So I want to make this, let's roughly about 20 seconds. So you got hit, about 20 frames. You do, yeah, 20 frames is good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to find the spine one. So that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and bring this up to the menu here. Let me hit Control Z. That's the movement that I wanted. Now we can try spine 2, spine 4, just whatever looks right. All right, spine 2 looks good. So we're going to stick with the spine 2. Remember, you can always hit Control Z to go back to what you had previously. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I have spine 2 selected. I'm back at the frame 0. And I'm going to key in. So now you've seen under spine 2 we have some keys here. So this is what we want to change. So after, let's say, frame 5. Let's go to frame 5s here. And what I want to do is I just want to push them all the way back. So then we hit the key in. So now if you hit the play, he does this little back thrust. It looks like he's gotten hit. But now we want him to come back up. So let's say he gets hit. And let's say right around 6. Let's bring him up a little bit. Key that in. And let's go all the way. Why isn't it moving? There it goes. Go all the way to 10, move him back in an upright position, and key this in. So now we hit play, he gets hit, and he comes back up. Now that's a little too fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control Z, go back to the previous version, and I want to take this, so let's go to keys. Wait, no. Something's wrong. I don't want him. I want him to be upright. There we go. So I'm going to go to around 7. And I'm going to push him all the way back like he just got hit. Let me go ahead and key it in right there. And I want to go back to, let's say, about 13. Bring him back upright. And then key that in. So now we hit play, looks like he just got hit, he comes back up. But now all this is long, this is like 50 frames, we don't want that. So right after he comes up, bam, he comes up right about 15. So right on the 15 mark, what I want to do is I just take my arrow, my cursor, hover over the 15, and I'm going to right click, above the track. So about right here, right where 15 is. I'm going to go ahead and right click, and then you'll see you got your options here. Remove frames from 0 to 25, which we just made, and remove frames from range 26 to 51. So that's what we want to do. So now we hit play real quick. He gets hit. Let's back up. And we still, I want him just cut out. Let's cut out from 19 to 25. See how that looks. There we go. There we go. That looks pretty good. That looks great. Now you can also adjust it by double clicking, and you'll have this curve editor where you can set the curve. You can go ahead and move your curve around a little bit. You want to make this faster, you can readjust it. That looks pretty good. I like it right there. That looks great. Like you just got hit, but we want to make it this a little bit longer. See how that looks. So that looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to go back into the content in our animation, the hit reaction that we just made, and I'm going to go ahead and right click on this and go to our create, and what we want to do is create and a montage. So that creates a new hit reaction montage that we'd never had before, and we can do a lot with that. So let's go into our hit montage. There it is. There's our hit montage. So if you can play around with this, set this custom like you want. You just go ahead and make sure you have your spine, your bone selected, and you can go ahead and make any adjustments to any animation. Okay, so now we're done with that. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to keep that open up top there. And what I want to do is I want to go into the enemy blueprint character. Now, before we had this set up for when he attacks, okay, the on component overlap, it's cast to the VP third person character. We're going to keep that, but we're going to get rid of the set timer. If you like all this, you can keep it, but I just found out this is a better way. So I'm just going to go ahead and take all this and move this out of my way for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a new variable type, and the variable type is going to be a Boolean. We are going to have it is overlapping, question mark. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's visible. And now I want to do is set this. Okay, so I'm going to set overlapping. I'm also going to hit a Control D, make sure we got two of them. Oops, no. So now when we are overlapping, we're setting this variable to be true. So we're going to go ahead and connect that. So when we are end overlapping, our variable is going to be false. Okay, so when you call on this variable, it's going to change for when the component begin overlap is changing it. So when you are hitting the collision, it's going to show overlapping. It's going to change the variable to true. If you're not, it's going to change it to false. Okay, so we're going to keep that. That's like it is. Now, the next thing we're going to do is make the attacking. So I'm just going to make a custom event. I like custom events. They're great. Okay, so we're going to put attacking. Okay, so this event right here is going to be our play montage. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the character mesh, and we're going to get the play montage. There's our play montage. Okay, now we're going to call on our attacking, which is the anim attack light montage. So that's our attacking. Okay, next we are going to get on completion. We want to get a branch there. Okay, so our condition is going to be the overlap. So we're just going to plug that in there. I'd like to put them down here. Give me some more space here. And I'm going to have two delays. One on the true and one on the false. Okay. So I'm going to come back up here on the component begin overlap, which we have the overlap set to true. I'm just going to call on the attacking. Okay, there it is right there. That's our attacking. That's our custom event. So it's going to play the montage on the overlap. So that's going to play all this. Okay, instead of using the timers, we're using the delay. And I'm going to get this attacking again. I'm going to hit Control D. I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to bring this down here. So on completion, if he's still overlapping, if that's true, he's going to keep attacking. So now so we're going to set these to 0.2. Actually, I'm going to set these to 0.1. That looks about better. Okay, so we're going to, that looks all good. So now we got to set up something if it's false. So what we want him to do is we want the on pawn C events. We have the last video, we made the hearing and seeing. We want to go ahead and grab those, and we want to make those into custom events. So let me scroll over to the on pawn seeing here. This is why you always make sure I like to make sure I have these cut, make sure the color is in here so it's easier to see them, because instead of having them all gray, you can have different colors. That's what I like to keep. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. So we're going to add some stuff in here. Let's go this way. Bring this down a little bit. So we got the on pawn C hearing right here. No, you don't want to do that. Just want to, no, I don't want to grab that. I want to bring this down here. Okay, there we go. So we're going to do a couple things here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab on our pawn. So into the left under the components, you'll see our pawn sensing. We're going to go ahead and grab that and bring that in for our reference. I'm actually going to Control D, so we have two of them, one down here. And what we are going to do is we are going to call for the C event on pawn C. So okay, so we have the assign on pawn P, bind to on side. We want to assign. Okay, so when you assign, you got our custom event. It already makes the custom event for us. So here's our custom event, and we want to plug this in here somewhere. So we're going to plug this into right after the on pawn C. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in, move this over, and make sure we have that goes right in there. You want to keep the target to pawn. So we have the bind going to the pawn sensing here, and now we got our new event here. So now we want to do the same thing down here to the pawn seeing. We're going to call our hearing. We're just going to call on the hearing. And just like before, we bind it. I'm sorry. We want to assign the hear event. Got that a little backwards there. Okay. Now this assigns us the event that we need, and we just plug this into our actions. Wait, what did I move? Okay, so we're gonna pull this over a little bit, pull this over to right there, line that up, and bring this down. And we're just gonna plug this in here, plug this into the cast to the BP third person character. Okay, everything's staying the same, but only thing we're getting now is now we got this new event. So everything that happens here is on the event that we can call on. So now we got for the here event, and now we got the C event. These two events right here. So now we're going to go back inside our hearing here. So down here, right after on the false. Okay, so if he's not overlapping, when he's overlapping, we are attacking. But when he's not overlapping, we want him to chase. We want him to do the on pawn C event. So we're going to call that right here. We're going to call the on C. So there it is right there, the on C pawn event. And we want to get the on here. noise event. So now we got the two events going on. We got those already saved in here. So we can call on those. I'm going to compile everything. Seems to be working. Okay, so now we got that done. Let's go into his health and set every time he takes damage, he plays the hit reaction. So let's go do that. So I'm going to scroll up to his health, which I have commented out in the green here. So I want to give myself a little bit more room here. So I'm going to bring this event damage down. I got a lot of room here. I don't think I need this anymore, but I'm going to keep it because I don't want to break anything. Everything seems to be working. So the first thing I want to do, so this is where this is going to connect after the play montage. It's going into here. So let's bring this up, give us some more room. And I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect it here. It's going to go back. So what I want to do is I want to get a disable movement, because we do not want the player to go ahead and being able to move while he's playing his montage. So we got the disable movement, character movement. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to bring this down here. So the next thing we're going to want to get is the character, bring him in as a reference here, and we want to get a play montage. Well, I've spelled, no, we don't want to get a play on, we want to get a play montage. There it is. There's our play montage. So we're going to go ahead and connect that there. So it's going to play our montage for us. Okay, so we're going to get our montage, the hit reaction. Okay, and that's targeted to, yeah, the skeleton mesh component that we're using is the enemy character. So we're going to go ahead and compile all that. And the next thing we're going to do is we want to, since we disabled the movement, we're going to want to, on completion here, so it's going to go play the montage and that's it. But after completion, we want to set the movement back. So we're going to go ahead and set movement mode, okay, and we get the character's movement. So you can either go off of, oh wait, no, I don't want to open that up. So you can actually just use this one if you wanted to connect it to save room, but just keep it there. That's fine. So the movement that you want to bring back is the walking. Okay, so we got us walking. All right, so everything looks great here. So now we got the is overlapping. We want to make sure that we have a branch for that. So, okay, so he's going to get hit. He's going to take damage. He's going to disable his movement, play the montage. When the montage is over, it's going to set the movement mode back so we can walk again. So now we want to have a branch here that when he is overlapping, so we're going to bring in our overlapping, we're going to connect it to our branch here. We don't want it there. Let's just put this below our branch. Oh, we don't want you there. So all this looks like it's going to be in our way. So let's go ahead and pull this up a little bit and clean it up there. Okay, we don't need this damage anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, it looks like we're good. So I want to put a delay in. 2 seconds looks to be good. And then we want to start attacking. So we're going to bring that attack event that we just made. So we're bringing the attacking in. Okay, so now if this is, he's not overlapping, we want him to move towards the player. We want him to do the on C pawn event. So we're going to hit C pawn. On C pawn event. We want to play that one, and we also want to play the here noise event. And let's compile this. Now we also want to do the same here that we just put in. We want to do the same thing to our character. So make sure everything's compiled and saved. Let me check and make sure everything looks great. We got the attack montage. We corrected everything there, and we got our hit event. So when he gets hit, disables movement, plays the montage, set the movement back, branch. If it's overlapping, he's going to attack. If it's false, he's going to do the on see event or the on here, no matter what it is. If he hears them or sees them. So all that looks great. Like I said, make sure everything's compiled or saved. You don't want to lose anything. And I'm going to go back into the character. Now, what you can do is just save all this and make it easier. But we're just going to do it all by scratch. Okay, now that we are in, here's our BP third person character. You can find him in our third person folder under blueprints, under the sub, and there's our BP third person character. Just double click on him. And here we go. Let me pull this over a little bit, give us some more visual space here. And I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Now, we're just going to do things different here. So first thing we're going to do is disable the movement. So we're going to go ahead and get our character movement here, bring that in, and we're going to disable movement, make it real easy here. And we're going to go ahead and plug this in, bring this down a little bit, give us some more room, bring him here. Okay, so now we're going to play the montage. Get our character mesh for reference, bring that in, and we're going to play the montage. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug in the montage, and the montage we're going to play is the hit reaction that we just made. Now, because we have them under the same skeleton, that's where we're able to use them. If you had different skeletons, you would have to make another animation, another montage for that. But since we're using the same skeleton and the same third-person character, we can go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we want to do the same thing. We want to, on completion, we want to grab our character movement, bring him in, and we want to set the movement mode. Set movement mode to on completion. And that's it. We're going to go ahead and compile and save this. And let's test everything out. So let's hit play. Okay, so everything's working great. Let's run around here. And let's hit our guy. Oh, he hit me. And I can't move. Okay, something's not working. Let's find out what's going on. Now, what I didn't do is for the set movement mode, I didn't put it back for walking. That's my problem there. So let me compile that and save. Let me make sure the enemies... Okay, so he's on walking too, so we're good there. So let's go ahead and play that. So I play... There we go. Now I'm back to moving. So he hits me, I can't move. He hits me again, I'm stuck. And he hit him back. So I can get away. Run away. It's hard to get away. So now I got some bugs to work out here. Let me find out what's going on. Okay, so I see what I did. I had the delay under his attacking set for 0.1. So you just want to make this a little bit longer. I have it set on 0.5, and also did the same thing under his hit event here. I mean damage event. I put a delay after the false as well. So if it's not overlapping, you put a delay here. I'm going to put this as 0.5. So let me compile that. So we got everything that says delay set. For this one here, for is overlapping, I'm just going to put this as 0.4. Let's go ahead and compile that. Let's go ahead and hit play. So we're not stuck in an overlap. There we go. So he hits me. I'm only able to get away. It's a little bit hard, but you can get away from him. It gives it more challenge. And you can set that up just as you want. Now, it goes as long as the animation is. So we had our animation at 18 frames. If we can go ahead and set it back to 16, I found it was better. So, but for the tutorial, this works. Okay, one more thing we have to do is go back into the third person blueprint character, and after set movement mode, we want to plug that back in to the set health so it can continue on. That's something else we forgot to do. And then we compile and save it, and we're going to do the same thing with the enemy blueprint. We're just going to drag off of the on here noise event, and we're going to go ahead and plug that into the set health so it updates and branches off into the delay. So that will be it. And that's it, creators. We made a hit reaction montage and updated our blueprint attack and damage logic so both the player and enemies react to the hit with a smooth animation and a short movement delay. If this video helped you out, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the rest of my Unreal Engine tutorials. And like always, stay inspired and keep creating.